how do you make yourself different from the other 100 people that are reaching out? And that is just coming down to who wants it more, who's gonna follow up week after week, day after day, who's gonna drop off packages and letters and stop by the house, not only just call. It's about, we call it kind of blanket marketing, where most agents will hope that they call and someone gets on the phone, they get lucky and they get a listing. We're doing everything. We are calling, showing up to the door, mail, email, trying to talk to the neighbors. Like, you kind of have to be very, very aggressive. And I think in any industry that you're in, it's all about kind of finding a way and doing whatever it takes.
Hey, Dr. Bill here. So get ready for an exciting Meet the Mentor. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Nick. Nick Blatin is a real estate agent, but not just any real estate agent. He is the most successful real estate agent under 25 at the company he works at, which is Hilton in Highland. He's only been there 2 years. We're going to talk about how he got into real estate and what he's doing to kind of become successful. But he's a top performing agent. He's closed 42.6 million in transactions in his first 2 years of being licensed. He's also sold more properties than any other agent under 25. His team sold 103 homes in the past year, totaling over $110 million in sales. Nick, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So how'd you get into real estate?
It's a great question. So to start a little before real estate, I used to sell makeup door to door. So I would show up to work and I'd bring a huge bag with me of like 20 bags of makeup, and I knew nothing about makeup. So it was a lot of like hair extensions and lip kits and stuff like that. And I would kind of show up in public places and businesses like maybe like a restaurant. And I would go person to person, interrupt you while you're eating. Hey man, sorry to bother you. Check this out really quick. And you're like, I don't wear makeup. And I'm like, listen, I know you got a girlfriend, I know you got this. And long story short, I ended up realizing that I was really good at sales, and I was becoming one of the top performing salespeople in the country for our company. And my uncle and aunt, who are a couple of my biggest kind of mentors, and I've seen these people come from kind of nothing, and they grew up in apartments, and then they got the condo and the house, and now they have the mansions and Ferraris, and they're like a very good, just a good couple. Also have been together since high school, so they're people I respect, just like good people, not all about the money. And they told me, they said, Nick, if you're good at sales, why don't you sell something more expensive? Which was like a foreign concept to me, but it made a lot of sense. They're like, when you sell a bag of makeup, you get $8. When you sell a house, you can get 80,000 or more. And it made sense. It's like everyone kind of works the same amount of hours, like 8, 12, 16, whatever it is, but you're not necessarily working 10 times as much hours to make 10 times as much money. So it's like, why not kind of think bigger in a sense? And that's kind of where it all started. He introduced me to a couple agents, and I met them. I kind of started shadowing them and doing whatever they asked me, whether it was setting up open house signs on the streets or handing out flyers or going door to door and whatever they kind of needed. And then they eventually hired me on a commission only basis, where I'm essentially like lead generating. So I would be cold calling and I'd be knocking on doors. Hey, do you want to sell your house? And 100 people a day. No. And then finally, after about 11 months, got my first sale. It was for 1.8 million, actually down the street over here in Hollywood Hills. And it just kind of took off from there, for sure.
So here's the thing. There's a lot of people in LA that like go into real estate, kind of because like they can't find anything else that they want to do, and they get these big dollar signs in their eyes, and they think they're just like you did. They think, well, I'll sell something that's really expensive and I'm gonna make a lot of money. But it's a very, very competitive market. What have you done that's kind of made you stand out and be more successful than like 90% of the people that do it for a year or two and then quit?
Yeah, and to add to your point, I think 87% of real estate agents or people that get their license never sell a single house. So you're right, it's kind of very low barrier of entry. Anyone can go and take the test and get their license. But to actually sell a house, I would say it takes you need persistence, you need relationship management. my team specifically, what we do, I think that really sets us apart, is our business model is focused on houses that didn't sell before. So we kind of are going after expired listings. We're going after frustrated sellers and people that they try to sell their house for 6 months or a year or longer, and they've tried with all these different agents and they couldn't sell it. So we kind of come in, we bring in stagers, designers, interior decorators, architectural photographers many times for free just as part of our service, and offer kind of a white glove service. So it's gonna be the same house, same fish, right? But you kind of make it smell, taste, look a little different.
See, so that's genius. So basically what you guys are doing is you're creating a niche that you're specializing in, and that sets you apart. And you know, it doesn't even have to be real estate. Any business that you start, if you can do that, that's one of the keys to success. So if I have a student out there watching this and they're really thinking like real estate's where I want to go, can you kind of give me a little game plan of like what they should and shouldn't be doing to prepare themselves and eventually just kind of get into that business?
Yes, 100%. So my advice, do not go directly into real estate right away, because most people, it usually takes 6 months to a year or longer to get your first check. So I would first try to save up money doing something else in sales, where you can get used to kind of talking to people every day, being in front of people, getting rejected, telling people to go away, and I mean,
or be an actor.
Yeah, be an actor.
Rejected.
Being an actor is a wonderful option for sure. But anything you can do to kind of get used to being in front of people and kind of the sales mentality of you try 100 times to get a result one time, like acting, right?
Right.
And then from that point, you need to make sure that you're smart with your money, right? Because the thing about being a real estate agent is you might get a check, a big check, and then not sell another house for 6 months or a year or however long. Obviously not, once you get the ball rolling, but you just don't know. So it's about, I would say, first being good at sales, second have some savings. Then the most important advice I'd give if you want to be a real estate agent is join a team. Joining a team is similar actually to this program, because joining a team is essentially saying, I'm willing to take a smaller cut, make a smaller commission, make a smaller amount of money in exchange for the knowledge and mentorship of someone else who's already successful, another agent that's already big and they've learned and made all the mistakes and trials and tribulations and are willing to teach you, because they'll benefit also if you're bringing them deals.
So what does joining a team actually even mean? Because I'm not familiar with that in real estate.
Sure. So the way it works is every single deal there's a broker. The broker is essentially the owner of the company and the person who gets the commission. Then agents under the brokerage get paid out usually. So the thing is, a lot of these agents, especially once you get bigger, you have, let's say, 20 listings at a time. You cannot be at 20 open houses. You cannot be at 20 showings. You cannot be at 20 appointments at a time. So you start hiring a team of other commission-based agents where they can learn under you and see kind of how you grew your business while getting to have the full experience of being the agent, right? Because that person can't be there. So you essentially step in as the agent. That's called being on a team. Mm-hmm. And there's like the team leader, there's the brokerage, the team leader, and then the team member, junior agents, and then other than that, there's a lot of marketing and people like that.
So when you're on a team, is that a project by project delineation, or it's like our team shares in everything that any of us are doing kind of thing?
Every team is structured differently. Real estate, it's kind of like the Wild West. Like there's kind of no structure. Everyone runs their business differently. But typically how it works is the agent who's on a team will only get paid for deals that they brought to the table, right? So if our team sells 100 listings, maybe I don't get paid on 100 different listings, but everyone that came to the team based on my relationship or some work that I did or effort that I did or a connection that I made, then you'll get paid out on that. So it's honestly, I would highly recommend it to anyone new, especially when you're younger. Someone with a very expensive home, it's usually their biggest asset that they've ever had, typically. It's like they've been saving up and it's a very emotional thing for them, and this is the most expensive thing that they own, and they don't want to just get rid of it. They don't really want to trust someone young sometimes. So when you if you're 20 or younger and you show up with someone more experienced, now you have a better shot of actually kind of gaining their trust and making the deal happen.
Well, what's your favorite part?
Oh my God, I honestly, this is gonna be odd, but I feel my favorite part is when there's someone that gives you a really, really hard time, they're not interested at all, and they're like, you're the 100th person to talk to me today, I don't wanna do it, and then you follow up for months and months and months, and they finally call you, they're like, Nick, you're the only one that after 8 months is still reaching out to me, you can sell my house. It's just like a very gratifying, it's kind of like when anything you do for a long time, right, like school or anything, when something takes a long time and a lot of effort, it feels good.
All right, and what's the biggest challenge?
Oh my God, the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge, I think, for me is learning not to get excited. A lot of people will talk to someone and they'll like spin them in a circle and say, yes, I want to do this, or maybe a deal opens escrow and you're like, start counting your money, yes, I'm about to make this, and then things always go wrong and it happens. So if you get excited every single time, you'll be crushed daily. Like you'll be hurting badly. So I think to avoid that, just try to kind of stay level-headed. Don't let the ups get you too up, don't let the downs get you too down.
One of the things that we really try to get students to be aware of is, how important it is to copy genius. When you see people that are successful doing what you want to do, copy genius, right? And so I listen to tons of podcasts when I'm working at. One of my favorite ones is Guy Raz, who does How I Built This. And his favorite question to end interviews with is, how much of your success do you think is skill, and how much do you think is luck?
Okay, I think that I don't like the word luck. To me is kind of, it's not a good word. I don't like to feel that anyone that has made it or is successful in their industry got lucky. I like to say it's maybe 90% skill. I mean, the harder you work, the luckier you get as well. I call it the law of compensation. So the more that you're working and putting in time and sacrificing, someone's randomly going to call you. Like maybe it's not even one of the people that you were reaching out to, but I feel like the world kind of pays you back when they see that you've been putting in a lot of effort and sacrificing. And about what you just said also, about the mentorship, I think that there's two types of people. So I really want to stress, I think it's really important to know that when you see someone successful, there's kind of two reactions. One is you're a hater. And a hater is actually an acronym, I believe. It stands for having anger towards everyone reaching success. And you kind of see that person and you go, they got lucky, or they're not even that good, I can do that, and you get jealous. And it kind of, what that does is it makes you feel like the people that did make it, it wasn't in their control. So therefore it's not in your control, right? And that's not really a good mentality. The other side of the coin, and this is something that my uncle and aunt taught me, it's when you see someone successful, you should be going, how did you do that? And kind of wanting to talk to them and learn the principles and characteristics that they have to become successful, because it really is, having a mentor, it's like a cheat code. It's the best way to cut the learning curve.
All right, last thing. What's next?
What's next? Just trying to get bigger, kind of raise the level of the deals that we've done. So, last year the biggest sale that I did was 4.7 million. And right now, even actually today, after this interview, I have 2 listing appointments. One is for a $7 million house, one is for $8 million house. So it's kind of just leveling up, and then eventually starting my own team and having people kind of beneath me, I think would be fun. But I do want to stress one last thing about the mentorship. I think a lot of people are scared because they feel that, a mentor why would someone just tell me the secrets? Why would they give me their information and have me be better than them? And I think the reason for that is, once you reach a certain level of success, financially or whatever it is, people don't really care about money anymore. They care about being significant and kind of giving back and helping. So once someone has already made it, like yourself, for example, you don't want to hide all your secrets, and I don't want other dentists to be good. I want to be the only good dentist. Like, you want to give back, you want to help people. It feels good to know that you've acquired all this information now that you can share it and help other people, right? So mentors want you to reach out.
You are so wise beyond your years. It's true. I mean, giving back is the best part.
The best.
Yeah.
Sure. It feels good.
Thank you, Nick, so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, Dr. Bill, over and out.